Hello and welcome to my channel maanknitwear. My name is Umbriel. I am a knitter from the Netherlands and today we're talking about spring knits. So I have a few sweaters I still want to knit this spring. I have a few tops and then I have some things I want to knit on for my acrylic stash down. If you've been around, you might know that I make acrylic stash down videos to motivate me to get through my acrylic yarn stash that I built up around 2020 when I started to get back into knitting. So that will be at the end, but first I want to start with sweaters. I have a few patterns I want to share with you today. I know it's not realistic to go through everything in one season, so in, what is it, 3 months? But I have started on a few of the patterns that I'm going to show you today, so be aware of that. And everything that I share with you today is stuff that I have in stash. So I really want to make sure that I knit down my stash this spring and that I want to look at my stash. One more thing I did, my previous video is about all of my stash. So if you're interested in seeing that, then I would like to refer you to that video. Right now, we're getting into projects and project planning. So let's just get started. First off, I want to start with this yarn. So this is a cone from Rennie, and this is a ball of yarn from Rennie. And with this, I really want to make the Terracotta sweater by Lene Holme Samsu, who is Lenit on Instagram, and she also has a website. This is the colorway Putty, and this is the colorway Confetti. And I saw that sweater and I am in love with this sweater. You might know the porcelain sweater by her, which is kind of similar style, but it only has stockinette. And the terracotta sweater has a lot of structure, and I think it's really beautiful how she does a few rows of structure and then a little bit of color work. This will not be enough yarn for the contrasting parts. So what I was thinking of doing is alternating 2 different colors. So that would be one purchase, but I promise this is the only purchase that I'm talking about today. So I would want to have one more ball of this. Because I am planning on holding the fingering weight yarn double and not use a mohair and a fingering weight as suggested in the pattern. I've just noticed that stuff with mohair is very hot and I like to be not too hot. So that would be a beautiful sweater, I think. And I think I would want to do another like really pop of color, like bright pink. And I was trying to find where I can find Rennie balls in the Netherlands and I couldn't really find it. So if you know, if you're Dutch as well or you're from here, you don't have to be Dutch to live here, but if you live in the Netherlands, then please let me know if you know a place that sells them in person, because I would want to find a yarn and like look at it to decide which color would be perfect for this. I was debating on casting this on as a birthday cast on, but I have so many whips that I didn't want to do that to myself to have another whip. But this was my, I was kind of, I don't know, I kind of wanted this to be my birthday cast on. But I have more than enough sweaters well, not only sweaters, I have more than enough whips. So yeah, let's get into one actually. I'll pull it up right now, because with the same cone that I took a lot of yarn off of already from Rennie in the colorway Jade, and it's really pretty. It has so many different colors in there, and something about dark green, just like dark blue, it's so hard to capture the color really well. But I promise you, this is really pretty. It's almost like it's just blue and yellow and it's not necessarily green. Like there's so many different colors in here, and then together it looks like it's green, but actually it has all these different colors in it. But with that yarn, I had a full cone of the 850 grams, and I am making the Dartmoor sweater. So this sweater is a pattern by Kadri, and this is the striking thing about this sweater is the detail on the back. So see how it kind of looks dull, but also see how my color is changing too. This is not the color of this yarn, so it's really hard to capture really well. Maybe if I hold it back a little bit. No, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But anyway, I have knit such a long waist on this sweater. So yeah, I did the back yoke, front, I even did the neckline, and now I am this far on the body. I still need a few centimeters before the ribbing, and then I start the sleeves. But I wanted to have this sweater for a really long time, and then in my latest podcast, I showed my swatch for the Dartmoor sweater, and I showed another swatch, and I was so excited about this one. So I just started it straight away. The only thing is that this yarn is greasy yarn, so it still has all the spinning oil on it. So it smells pretty bad. And when I knit continental, so I have a strand of yarn running over my index finger. My index finger is totally like bluish green, as if I wore a copper ring, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of what happens, but that is another plan that I'm already doing. So that's very nice that I have some progress on that already. One thing that I'm doing that's different is I'm doing 2x2 for the neckline, and I'm planning to do 2x2 on the other ribbing as well, instead of 1x1, and I folded it back. The sample has just a regular collar, but I really like the fold back look. And I wanted to do 2x2 because the Guernsey Gens are made for my boyfriend that is on the couch over there. Has 2x2, and I really like the way that that neckline looks. And I think it looks a little better with the I-cord on the back rather than the 1x1. So yeah, that's the Dartmoor sweater. Then I have another sweater planned. I really want to make a striped sweater. So let me grab my yarn quick. So I have this Hobbii Zafira yarn in these two different colors, and both of them I have around 1,000 meters. And I really want to make the Sibling sweater my size by Laura Penrose, but I love the way that, and I'll put in a picture, it's called, I think they're called Dream Knit or something, the Pepper sweater. The Pepper sweater by Dream Knit. I really like the way that the yarn is also striped in the long turtleneck collar, and that there's like a little stripe at the end of the long ribbing. So what I plan on doing is using the Sibling sweater my size, because I really like the way that she constructed it. Laura Penrose has constructed it. I want to use that construction and then add in the other details from the Pepper sweater. The only thing I'm thinking, I have been thinking about what I want to do with this yarn for so long, and I really want to use it. It is going to be a really low contrast. So that's the only thing I'm thinking is, do I want that? Do I don't know. Yeah, and there's another thing I really want to use the Sibling sweater my size for, and that is the Holger sweater by Petite Knit, which is a baby sweater. I would love to make that sweater using the Sibling sweater my size pattern, but I think I would want to use a bunch of scraps for that. So the Holger sweater has, the body is striped, so that's two different colors. Then there's a contrast collar. Then both sleeves also have a different color. So there's 5 colors in there. So yeah, that would be really fun too, but then I have too much of this yarn to do that, and then I'll have an awkward amount left over. So I'm thinking of doing that Pepper sweater idea first, using only stash yarn, and then later maybe it would be fall knit, the Holger sweater kind of, yeah, made up thing using the Sibling sweater my size pattern. So that would be really fun. This yarn was, so both of these were from a wrong batch of yarn. So they're supposed to be, I think, Aran weight, but they're actually more like a DK. And the Sibling sweater my size is a DK weight yarn. And I would definitely have enough yarn to make that. And I am actually, when I'm talking about it now, I'm super excited to cast this on. But I have so many whips and there's so many plans, so I don't know if I'll be able to do this. Yeah. Then I have another whip that I want to talk about for these plans, and that is my perfect summer sweater. So how this came to be is, so I'm testing this sweater right now, the Cognac sweater. And I saw Rebecca of Hip Knit Hooray. She made the Cognac sweater. She test knitted it. And I thought it looked beautiful. And I think it's a really good alternative for the, what is it, Lento? With a larger gauge that you can make with when you don't have that much yarn. And I have been wanting to make a sweater using this stash yarn that I have. So I've been wanting to combine this. I had 3 balls of this, and I already used some now, but this is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colorway Dusty Artichoke. And then I had 4 balls of the Holst Garn Coast in the colorway Olive. And if I would hold this double and this single, so 3 strands held together, I would have 700 meters of this, because 1 ball has 350 meters. So 4 balls would be 1400 meters, and then holding it double would be 700 meters. I have 750 meters of this. So with 700 meters, I was thinking of making a large gauged summer sweater. I also had been thinking about the Blouse #1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, or the Lento, but I also kind of wanted to have an I-cord edge. And then I saw the Cognac sweater by Rebecca, and then I thought, okay, that it has to be it. So after seeing her podcast talking about it, I went to the Ravelry pattern page by Atelier Castin. It had just released, and then all the way at the bottom, I saw that she was still looking for testers for size 5, 7, and 8 or something. And I had already been scrolling through it and like calculating what I would want to do. And I was debating between a size 4 or a size 5. And I saw that over there. So I thought, okay, I'll just email her if she would want me to test it for her. So that expedited the process a lot, because then she said yes and sent me the pattern. I had to do a gauge swatch because the pattern is actually knit with a fingering weight and a mohair held together, where the mohair fills up the space a lot. And I'm using 3 strands of fingering. So yeah, I have gotten pretty far. I am currently knitting on one of the sleeves, and I am definitely playing a game of Yarn Chicken. I'm hoping to make a decent length of sleeve, but I also don't want it to be too cropped. So I really have to manage that and see where the yarn can get me. But right now I have this much left of my current balls that I'm working on, and then I have these 2 left. So before starting this sleeve, so before picking up these stitches, I was exactly halfway my yarn. So I think that would be so nice, and it's just going to be the perfect summer sweater. So yeah, the Holst Coast is 50% 50-50 wool and cotton. So this has silk, cotton, and wool, and it's exactly what I wanted it to be. And it has a contiguous set-in sleeve method that my Eva cardigan also has, so I'm one happy girl. Yeah, another plan that I'm already working on. Then I have one cardigan that I want to talk about. And I know, this is not going to be realistic to knit all of this in 3 months, but this is just how it goes in my mind. Is I have all these ideas, and then sometimes I'm not excited about an idea at all anymore. I already planned this list kind of longer ago, and then I thought, oh, I don't really want to make this anymore. So it's all subject to change. But I really want to make the Calm Down Cardigan by Lily Kate France. This was also in my Dream Knits for Fall video. If you're interested, that was a very popular video. So if you want to watch it as well, then you can go look at that one. But I have been thinking about knitting the Calm Down Cardigan in this yarn, but then for some reason a dark green cardigan didn't seem like what I wanted. It seemed a little, I don't know, it wasn't what I envisioned. And then I was thinking I really want to make something in really bright color, happy color, and I was looking online, and then I saw Sandnes Garn had this colorway, which is lemon, and I saw that one of my, it's like a Dutch online shop, but it's a local, it's like a small business, so I like supporting them. It's called De Brei Boerderij, and I saw that they had a bunch of these in stash. This is the Tin Pergint by Sandnes Garn, and it's 100% Norwegian wool. It's nice and rustic. It would be perfect for the cardigan, help double. So I bought 16 balls of the Tin Pergint, and that was a more economic way, was a more economic choice than the normal Pergint. I don't know why, but this yardage is a little bit more help double than one ball of the Pergint, if that makes sense. But so this was cheaper than getting the right amount of yarn if I bought the Pergint, so that's why I did it. Also, they didn't have the Pergint, but it was a better choice anyway. So I would be holding it double, which I think would also add to the strength. I really like holding yarns double. It makes me feel a little more safe than using one strand because of pilling. Because I'm scared of pilling. So yeah, I had swatched for the Calm Down Cardigan in the other yarn before, and I know that I had to go down a needle size, so I might need to have to knit this cardigan in 3.5mm needles, which is devastating. But yeah, I love this color. I thought it was going to be a little more icy yellow. And it is a little more towards, what I don't want to say green, but like it's leaning in a different, just slightly in a different area of the yellow than I was expecting or hoping. But I still really love the color, and I just love yellow right now. So I also think it's really important to cast this one on for spring, because yellow is such a spring color. So, and I think it suits me. I think I look good in yellow. So, which I don't think a lot of people feel that way. Then I have one more, it is a sweater, but it's called a blouse. It's Blouse #1 Light by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Again, I saw Rebecca of Hip Knit Hooray. She was working on a bright orangey red Blouse #1 in one strand of mohair. And there has been one thing that has been just on my mind for such a long time, which is one of these, I'll put in a picture, I don't know if I can find it, but one of those striped mohair sweaters. I know that Future Fiber, forgot her name, but I watch her videos all the time. Jenny. I had to look up a video first. Jenny of Future Fiber also made a mohair sweater by a different designer, the Aura Top by Rose Knitwear, I think. And she striped it, and I really like that look. and I have been thinking about using my scrap mohair for a 100% mohair sweater with the end of the sleeves in a fingering weight or a higher weight yarn. And I want to use like 6mm needles to make it nice and holey. I also want to make like a thicker stripe around here so you don't have to wear anything but a bra underneath if you want. And I have been thinking about, okay, should I make that into a pattern? But I feel like there's just so many patterns out there that it's more fun to just use someone else's pattern, just like the Sibling sweater my size, to use that pattern that is already there and just adjust it to whatever I want. I feel like I am at a certain level now in knitting that I am perfectly okay in like changing anything I want about a pattern. And I have been doing that in the past too. For example, my Amy slipover, I made short rows and I made like the shoulder bigger, had to do some adjustments for the neckline, stuff like that. So I kind of want to use all of my designing abilities or designing like things that I want to do in designing to just adjust patterns to what I want them to be like. So I was thinking of making the blouse #1 light in one strand of mohair using all of my different colors that I have. I might buy one ball of mohair to have like a pop of color because I don't really have like a bright orange or a bright pink, and I feel like that would really add to the sweater. Also, this is not all of my mohair that I have in my stash. I have some mohairs that are kind of designated for certain projects, but I can take out from there and add it into the sweater. Also, I need to use only the silk mohairs and not the polyester. I have one polyester mohair, but the polyester is not strong enough to hold the whole sweater, as I have learned, because I have one mohair sweater and it has one strand of the polyester mohair and it's not really holding up. There's holes in it and that's not very nice. So yeah, that's another plan. And I think this would be one of those projects that I want to make a video for, to like show how my process is going when I think of changing the idea of the pattern into something that I want it to look like without making a pattern myself. But then I can just take people along in my creative journey. So that's fun too. Then next up, I'm going into tops. So finally we're getting out of the cold of springtime and we're getting towards summer, towards the hotter part of spring. I've bought this Malabrigo Arroyo. I am currently using the electric blue, the Matisse blue, that's the colorway. Using it for a hat for my dad, a muscle-blower hat. I talk about that in my podcast. It's not the moment now. And honestly, I wish I had bought 2 more of that exact yarn because I think it's prettier than this. But when I saw this yarn online, I thought it was just so pretty. And now that I have it in person, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty, but I don't know. But what I want to make with it is the Monica Geller tee by Sari Nordland. And I have seen, why I'm so excited about this combination is, so I looked on the pattern page on Ravelry and then I saw that someone had used the Malabrigo Arroyo for the Monica Geller tee, only needed 2 skeins for the size 3, I think, which would be okay for me because I like negative ease. And I think it's a really beautiful pattern. It's a really beautiful t-shirt. I have made a few t-shirts already. Like the basic tees that I have made is the Colette tee by Vitre Design and the Poppy tee by Petit Knit. And I think that this would be a beautiful one to add to the list. And I know that someone else had used 2 strands or 2 skeins of the Malabrigo Arroyo. So I feel like that is just the perfect match. And when I bought this, I was thinking I should make it into a t-shirt. Yeah, so that would be a perfect match. I don't know if this is high on the list, but I might be influenced to do a little knit along where more people want to knit the Monica Geller tee. I don't know. Then I would like to talk about this other thing that I want to talk about, which is these two skeins of BC Garn Bio Balance, which is 55% pure organic wool and 54% pure organic cotton. And I had bought this as a way to get free shipping one time, long time ago, and I haven't used it. And it's just dark gray. I think dark colors look good on me. So yeah, I bought it. I haven't used it. But I was thinking of making the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made Designs. And yeah, I don't know if I would have enough yardage because there's 450 meters here. But this yarn is a little thicker than fingering weight, I would say. I think it does say that it's fingering. It doesn't actually say what it would be. Let me look it up. It does call itself fingering, but I think what would be a good idea is going up a needle size. So it is knit in 3.5mm needles, which is, I mean, I would prefer to knit a tank top on 3mm needles. So yeah, I would maybe go up to a 4mm needle and then just knit a size down, a size or two down. Maybe even try to make the smallest size. I don't know. I don't know what I'm exactly gonna do, but I feel like it would be possible to make a mini mock neck tank. The only thing is that I find it very short and I don't want to wear a short top like that. I don't. So yeah, I would have to think about that one, but it could be a match. That's not a real like solid plan right now. Then one thing that is a solid plan is I have 3 balls of the Novita woolly wood, which is 70% tencel and 30% wool. I am testing the Heartless top by Midsummer Knits, who is Emma, and she had made this beautiful top, which is the top with the heart in the middle over here on your chest. And I have been selected to test for her. So I'm really excited about that. The test has already started, but I feel so overwhelmed with my current whips that I want to get something off of my needles before I start something new. And there's a long testing period, so I feel like I can whip this out pretty quickly. But I am going to be using the woolly wood tencel, the Novita woolly wood. And the funny thing is, they say this is a DK, but it looks so thin. So yeah, I was already gauge watching for this and I couldn't really get gauge. So I really need to go down needle sizes. I don't know what's going on, but I'll make sure that I hit gauge because it's a test. So I really need to make sure that I get gauge. I have been doing better on gauge watching anyways lately. So I am proud of that. I have gauge watch for the Dartmoor sweater and for the Cognac sweater, obviously, because it's tested. But for both of those, I had to go down a needle size. So I am doing my duty as a knitter, gauge watching. But that would be the Heartless top by Emma Jager, who is Midsummer Knits. And I think the end of April, the top will come out. I know that people are very excited about it, so yeah, mark your calendars, I would say. And then for the next one, I had to get my cotton box because I hadn't shown this in that latest video where I talked about all my yarn stash, but I also have some cotton stash. And I want to make the Soul Top by Rose Knitwear. And I'm so inspired by the stripy version. And here I have all my cotton yarn. At the top, there's a crochet whip that I have not finished, as you can tell. I'm making the flowerals by Savannah Stitches. But at the bottom of this, I have plus some old whips that I could be using. And I have a bunch of different colors. So for example here, some dark navy. This is some beautiful speckled wool. Then I have this color and a whole ball of that too. Some light lilac. Some of this, although I don't think I would use that because it's like bobbly. So I would want to use all the same yarn. And I need a DK, so I could use the DK cotton that I have or use the fingering held double. So yeah, I have a lot of different colors of cotton in here. Here's some more leftovers. Some light yellow, some terracotta. Yeah, enough cotton yarn to make that top. And I am just so inspired by that stripy one. I have it right in front of me right now. I love it. I also love the way that this top is constructed with the higher neck, thicker stripes, thicker bands, also the thicker band here. Mwah. Perfect. And then I think those stripes are so fun that they're like different thicknesses. Yeah, this is one of those things where I can really put my creative energy into project. And I'm really excited to do that. So as you can tell, there's a few things that I really want to put my creativity in, and that is this sole top, that is the Blouse #1 light, and that is the Sibling sweater modifications that I want to do. So I'm really excited about all of that. And then we go from my cotton stash to my acrylic yarn stash. Here it all is. What I have been wanting to do, or what I want to do for this spring, is two things. First, I'll start with the garment that I am planning on making, which is the Lonely Leftovers Vest by Wool & Beyond. And for that, I want to be using some white unraveled yarn that I have that is half wool, half acrylic. It's currently in a different box than this one, by the way. But then I want to use the Lerkebacher tying knots method to tie knots together and hold two strands together to make the Lonely Leftovers vest. And I think that would make for, I have a lot of beautiful colors that I can put into that. So I think that would be really fun. I'm gonna put it here. This talks a little easier. So that's one project I really want to make. She makes it, by the way, with Drops Alaska, and I love Drops Alaska, but I also think it's very hot. And I have said in the past that I don't like acrylic garments, but I think because it's a vest, and I hope it's not too high up on your armpits, but I think because of that, it's breathable enough and you wouldn't get stinky. So that's my assumption. And then there's another thing I really want to make, and that is the Kuno's cushions by Ann Wenzel. And I think I could make a huge dent with that. When you get your yarn stash out, then all of the fluff and everything makes me sneeze. Okay, the Kuno's cushions are knit in an Aran weight, so on 5.5mm needles. So I could be using 2 strands held together throughout. And then I think it's a really dense fabric, so I think I will be using a lot of yarn for that. And I think using acrylic for homeware is gonna make it very durable. Although it has a nicer feeling if you use all natural fibers. But I wanna do something with this to be sustainable and make use of the things that I have. So I think that would be a perfect combination together. So those are all my dream knits for this spring. I am glad that I already started with some of them because this is a long list of things I want to do. And next to this, I will obviously also be knitting socks. I didn't put any projects in here because that's really just a last minute cast on usually. I'm currently working on Lempy socks for another one of those vlogs of my 52 weeks of socks. So be on the lookout for that one when I finish it. The yarn is back there, so then you kind of know how far I am, which is I just finished an enormous cuff. That's it. But I know this list is very long. Wish me luck, and I'll be making sure I can knit as much of this as possible. Also, I have really been enjoying making project vlogs. So if you're interested in any of these projects that I just showed you, any of these patterns, then please let me know if you're interested in any of the project vlogs. For myself, I'm kind of thinking maybe the Sibling sweater my size because I'm making an alteration, or the blouse number 1, or the sole top, because there's a lot of creative process going into those, and it's not very straightforward, just knitting, 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 following a pattern. So yeah, that would be fun. Maybe the terracotta sweater, that would be a cool one because it's kind of a newer pattern. Yeah, so let me know if you're interested in any of that. And other than that, please subscribe right down below. You can hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video of mine goes live. And other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy spring knitting. Bye!